I'm happy to be joined by Sage Philippe, who stayed undefeated, winning a unanimous decision victory at Cage Wars 43 over Andrew Jesmain on September the 13th. Sage, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself, Ryan?
I'm good, man. It's been way too long since we've talked. You just keep trucking along and got another impressive victory underneath your belt. But this one was a little bit more difficult than some of the other fights you've had in the past. Was this the hardest fight you've had so far in your amateur career?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew definitely brought some things, some monsters out of me. Let me tell you something, man. That guy was a tough son of a gun. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that are out there that are just tough fighters. They're just tough fighters, but that guy was just a tough human being. That's the best way I could describe him. I gave him some shots in there, and I looked at him, and we were staring at each other in the eyes, and I looking in his eyes, I could tell this guy wasn't going anywhere. This guy was a monster, and he was the first one to actually ever hurt me. I never been hurt like that ever in a cage. I watched the fight like 60 times, because during the fight I didn't even know what the hell hit me. But on the break from when I was grappling him, he snuck a hook in there, and in the fight I'm like, damn, what he just hit me with? Because all I remember was seeing stars, and then he hits me with the hook. And I go to exchange with him, and then I throw a hook, and he comes right over my hook, and he catches me with a right. And all I remember was just hitting the canvas, and I'm looking at the canvas, and I'm there, right? But my body's not responding. so I'm going mentally. I'm like, how the hell did I get here? That's all I remember asking myself. And I remember the crowd just going insane. He sold a ton of tickets. He was from there. And I remember was just looking right to my right and just seeing his feet, seeing his legs, and just naturally I just remember just picking him, and just picking his ankles, and then being able to secure the takedown. And then I was pretty out when I mounted him. I was pretty out. I was out, and then I remember it just took me just a couple more seconds just to get my wits about me, and then I knew I was fine afterwards. But yeah, he was the first ever to really hurt me and really take me there, honestly.
What did you learn about yourself when you faced that adversity for the first time in your career to that degree?
Well, it's that's when really training comes into play. That's why, real good fighters, really high level fighters, they're very consistent. You understand? Because when you train 6 days a week consistently, I train consistently 6 days a week. It's all muscle memory. So when somebody presses the snooze button, you can respond. So, most of the things I was doing in there, my eyes were freaking closed half the time. It was just moving and feeling. And that's really the training that comes into play. And kind of just playing, just kind of basically, what's the word? Faking it until you make it. You get what I'm saying? Because, I'm hurt, right? My coaches see that I'm hurt, but he doesn't need to know that, and that's really the idea. Because again, your opponent never really knows. They could think they did something to you, but it's all about what you show them. You understand? So, and just by watching the fight, you can't even tell anything happened to me. But I was in extreme danger.
Now, you won the USMTA Middleweight Championship with this victory over Andrew at Cage Wars 43. So congratulations on that. How much did that mean to you to get this belt wrapped around your waist and to beat a tough opponent in Andrew?
Yeah, it meant everything. I'll be honest with you. Before the fight, I was supposed to fight this guy at 170. I call him the Egyptian magician. Him, he bailed out, scared to fight me. His teammate was supposed to fight me for the other belt. He bails out, scared to fight me. So I was itching. I'm like, listen, I need to get that belt wrapped around my waist, and the promoters kind of smelt that, so they gave me the opportunity to fight this guy, Jesmain, and it was a risk, but in this game that we play, it's either high risk, high reward, man, and that's how I look at things. That's how I approach life, and that's how I approach fighting. So. I knew it was a big risk, but the reward was so satisfying, Brian. It was worth it. You understand?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that really was a great performance. I got to ask you too, Sage, with your originally scheduled opponent at 170 and then this being at 185, how did that affect your game plan or just, your overall process to step into the cage? I mean, because there's got to be quite a bit of a difference, not only a different opponent, but a different weight class as well.
Yeah, well, you got to figure, like I said, starting last year, I I've been at 170. You understand? So I've been dieting. My body's been used to the cuts. You know, I've been weighing in at 168, 169. I've been under 70. So, and guys look at me, they think I'm just like this monster, humongous guy. I'm 5'10". You know, I'm just a really muscular guy because I train 6 days a freaking week. But I was 176 when my coach freaking called me and told me I had to go up to 185. You know, so humanly possible, realistically, I didn't even make 85. I was 83 when I got on the scale. And fight night, I didn't eat lunch, I didn't eat dinner or breakfast with my coaches. You know, usually after weigh-ins, I'm stuffing my face, I got to put the weight back on. But I was so accustomed to that weight cut that I was just at my natural weight. I didn't eat dinner, I didn't eat lunch, I didn't eat breakfast. I was probably 183, 182 in the cage, but I felt fresh, Ryan. I've never felt like how I felt that night before. So that was one of the things that I was super excited about.
Now, what does that mean for you moving forward? Obviously, you're going to have more of an advantage if you're fighting at welterweight, just based on your height, your reach, and so on. But middleweight, if you're feeling so fresh, is that something that you're going to entertain if you have the right matchup moving forward?
No, listen, I entertain any challenges, Ryan. You know, because the reality of it is, this amateur scene, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not scared. People, a lot of guys are scared to take a loss. That's why they don't take chances. They want to protect their record, their gyms. I don't care. I'm about getting better. I'm a fighter. You understand? I'm about exciting the crowd. You know, because that's what people come to see. They don't come to see anything else. So I entertain any challenge. I truly do. You know, if it makes sense, I'm not an idiot. But if it makes sense, let's do it.
Now, you've had 2 fights for the Ammo Fight League promotion, now 2 fights for Cage Wars. What's the difference between the promotions? I've never been to a Cage Wars event, but I've been to numerous Ammo events. Talk about just the difference in the crowd and the venue versus the 2 promotions.
Well, in New England, it's the fight scene is pretty awesome in New England. And shout outs to Bill Vigil, Ammo Fight League. It's my guy. He gave me an opportunity to fight, and yeah, it's a great scene. You're local, right? So I get my your friends, your family, everybody that really knows you. And you get to fight some really good competition out in our part of the region here. Once you start climbing to New York, I mean, it honestly it's a different ball game. It really is a different ball game. The crowd, the particular crowd that you're getting in Cage Wars, because it's right next to Albany, since Schenectady, New York. You're getting fans from everywhere. You're getting fans from Canada, all parts of the Northeast. I mean, it's insane. New York, even down south. Because we have these fighters we have a bunch of heavyweights that are driving from freaking Virginia, to come fight here. Guys from Florida, guys from, all across the country, that fights at that promotion. So the exposure is what's different. The exposure is completely different. Honestly, it's more fighter friendly because, believe it or not, the fans they don't know you. You understand? So when they see you and you're competing in the cage, that's all they know. So I get a pretty wild reception out there. I mean, these people they love especially when you're a fighter and you want to fight and you put a good show. They're taking pictures with you after the fact. These people are smack drunk. Some people smack drunk, Ryan, and they come up to you and they're telling you your amazing fight, shaking your hands, taking pictures with you. It was like it's fucking awesome. It's a fighter's dream.
Right.
Honestly, so I love fighting out there. Obviously, when I'm in Ammo, it's a little bit more personal because I got friends, family. It's more of a it's more of that type of situation. But when you're in the big lights, it's different, man. It really is. Brings the best out of you. You get amazing competition. My first fight there, I fought a guy from fucking Canada. A guy from Canada. That was awesome. And I was supposed to fight a guy from Egypt. That guy didn't show up, right? But you just get exposed with different body types and different skill levels and different different atmosphere.
Now, I did speak to Bill Vigil recently. He told me to say hello to you, and he wishes nothing but the best for you as you move forward in your career. I believe he's planning his next event for early 2020. So he said, stay tuned. He'd love to have you come back and fight for him when that time comes. And I also spoke with the owner of New England Fights, Matt Peterson, and he actually had some really interesting words for me to relay to you. There's a big fight coming up in November down in Portland, Maine for the amateur welterweight title between Duncan Smith and Jordan Norman. And that is a really exciting fight. Both guys have a high skill level, and I know a lot of the fans here in Maine are really looking forward to that one. He said he would love to have you fight the winner of that championship fight at the next NEF event. I believe NEF 42 will be sometimes towards the end of football season. Does that excite you? Is that something that you'd like to sign on for and do?
Oh, yeah. That sounds wicked right there. I got my best buddy from high school is out in Maine. He travels to come see me fight in New England and New York. So you damn right I'm excited about that. So that's cool. You said there was a surprise, so I didn't know it was gonna be that. That's pretty awesome.
This could be another collection to your belt wall there. So you're going to have all these different belts maybe before you turn pro. And I do want to talk about when you decide to turn pro eventually. But first, I just want to talk about the evolution of you as a fighter, because it's been a while since we spoke. You were 1-0 after the first time we talked. Now you're 4-0. You've got a belt around your waist. How much better have you gotten? And I know I saw Mr. Franklin there in your corner for your last fight. Just talk a little bit about your team and how you've evolved.
Yeah, so the last time I spoke with you, I remember I was kind of in that between leaving my first instructor and really trying to find a gym, that suited my skill set and would take me to that next level, So and I remember always seeing Coach Marco and Franklin, Coach Franklin, in different events, and I was telling him, I was like, listen, I'll be in that gym, I'll be in the gym. And then, I finally made my way down there. I was getting ready for my second fight. I was like, it's time. Made my way down there, and unbelievable experience I've had since being at Team Link. I mean, it's extremely professional. The best fighters in the region. I mean, I'm training with Cameron. I'm training with Pat Casey. Those guys are extremely humble. Those guys are their work ethic is insane. I thought I was a workaholic. I really did. I didn't know anything. I got in there, got with the pros. And I trained with them, and I got to watch them, how they prepare for their fights for Bellator, and it really just exposed me like, okay, there's another level here, man, that you got to keep climbing, and working with them is why you're seeing my growth as a fighter, really. Like I still work with my boxing coaches, I still have my wrestling coaches, but my intellect, my intelligence in there is because of them. My second fight, that finish, was because of Coach Marco. He's just next level to have as a cornerman. Honestly, his understanding of the game is just unbelievable, and it's because of the years he has under his belt. But yeah, that being a part of Team Link has truly evolved me as a fighter, and it's been amazing, and I've been having phenomenal opportunities for fights. Being able to meet Slim and fight for Cage Wars. So kudos to them, and they're, again, I cannot stress to you again how humble they are. No egos in there. Obviously, we're men, right? So we got some damn testosterone in there when we're training, but there's no egos involved. I remember when I first started training there, I was just getting my ass whooped by Leon, by Cameron, by Pat. Right after they beat you up, they're giving you water, and you tell me what gym's doing that. Most gyms, these guys, the pro fighters, they're big egos, it's all about them, but those guys are extremely selfless and commit and sacrifice everything to be at the top where they're at.
I actually went to the World Series of Fighting at Madison Square Garden with Coach Franklin and Iggy, so I had to mention them and say what's up. They're good people, so glad to hear you found a gym and you're loving it there. When you and Pat Casey stand side by side, who's bigger?
Don't let the pictures fool you, man. Pat's a big son of a bitch. He's not the tallest guy, man, but you ever see the back on this guy, man? They don't call him the Gorilla Ninja for nothing, man.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. he's big, man. I'm telling you, he's a big guy. Like, I'm a big guy, but I look at Pat sometimes. I see his back, and then I don't know if you've ever been at one of his fights, like a cage side. he gets on top of somebody, right? And he starts punching away. It sounds like coconuts. I was like, Pat, you got coconuts in your hand?
That's funny. That's a good analogy. I'll have to bring that up next time I talk to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you got to be eager to get back into the cage soon. How fresh are you feeling? How healthy is your body right now?
Yeah. Like I said, my 3 weeks before that fight, that title fight, I injured my rib when I was wrestling, man, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to fight, honest to God. And then I slowly just got back into it. All the way up to fight week, I was just praying. I was like, I hope this guy doesn't fucking hit me in my rib. And the first thing he does is knee me in the rib. So I've just been resting that. But I'll be ready to rock and roll in January. When January rolls around, I'm going to be extremely active like I was last year. I mean, we're talking 4 fights under 10 months. And that's the activity that I want to do so I can set up that cage experience and things of that nature for pro.
When will you want to turn pro? Is this going to be late 2020, or are you just going to kind of take it slow and wait for your coaches to kind of give you the nod and say, yeah, it's time?
Yeah, I mean both. Honestly, obviously it's a feeling thing. Like I said, I got the pleasure of training with pro fighters. That's the beauty of where the gym that I'm training at, Team Link. So I get to really gauge myself, and I need more work. Like I really want to develop my jiu-jitsu. To a level where I know that I'm pretty good at defending the submissions, but I want to be able to set up attacks with my heavy wrestling, with my Muay Thai, with my boxing, and really develop that. And then I think I'll be ready to rock and roll. Like I said, he's ranked 3-2 in the whole region, right, for welterweight. Pat Casey as well. So these guys are the best. These guys are the best, in our region. So I just really want to make sure that I accomplish those things. And I really, 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 I can't stress this enough. I really want to test myself. And then it's time to go pro, and it's time to fight some high caliber fighters.
Well, I know for myself, I can't wait to see you take those next steps in your career. Hopefully, maybe your next fight will be up here in my neck of the woods in Maine at the next card for that title fight. So I'll make sure to pass that info along to Matt Peterson. Let him know you're excited about that, and maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm always excited about a challenge and always excited about an opportunity. And I want to give a big thank you for even offering me to come down there and defend and compete for that belt. Yeah, you'll be hearing from my coaches, I'll tell you that much.
Sounds good to me, bud. Well, listen, before I let you go, I got to get a little fight prediction here for this Saturday. It might be the fight of the year, in my opinion. I am looking forward to this one so much. Middleweight title for the UFC, Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya. Who wins and how?
Man, I the thing about it is I'm really torn between this fight, right? Because Adesanya, he's just next level as far as his striking goes and his intelligence in the cage. But man, it's something that can be said about somebody that's been through the fire. And I'm a big Robert fan. I'm a big Reaper fan. And he just knows how to win, man. It takes a special human being to beat Yoel. It really does, twice. You understand? So I gotta give it to Robert. I figure Robert's gonna find a way.
I'm with you 100%. I love Adesanya. I think he's amazing. I just think Whittaker is a fighter's fighter. He's just a dog. He's just going to go in there and just find a way to win, like you said. So I'm looking forward to it, buddy. For anyone you want to say thank you to, the floor is yours.
Yeah, listen, I want to give a big thank you to Coach Marco, Coach Franklin at Team Link, all the fighters there, Brandon, Nino, Cameron, Pat Casey, my boxing coaches, the great Whitleys, the Whitley family in Holyoke, Mass, in Springfield, my wrestling coach, Coach Matt. He's transformed me as a wrestler, MMA wrestler. Big shout outs to all my coworkers at Cartwright. Okay. Big shout out to some of the owners, John Barbarino. And I want everybody to send their prayers. If you could help me, please, to another one of the owners there at Cartwright. His name is David. He's not feeling so well. He's actually in Boston Medical Center as we speak. And again, just is very, very urgent that, you know, if we can, everybody just send their praise to him, and wish him best of health. And yeah, and I want to thank God, obviously, you know, without him, nothing is possible. And I want to give a big shout out to Ryan. Second time get an interview from you. You were the first person to interview me when I first started. So it's pretty awesome for us to go full circle a year after, and many more interviews to come.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's my pleasure, Sage. You're a good fighter and an even better human being. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So thank you again for the time, and we'll be talking soon.
God bless, guys. Thank you.